Hey, y'all. It's awesome to be doing another midweek devotional with you. And this week, I'm doing it in our church. As you can see, I'm really excited to share with you guys. And I want to talk about encouragement. Because I think encouragement is really big and it can have a dramatic impact in our lives. And encouragement's got to come from the heart, it's got to be stuff that's real and authentic. And I love in John's gospel in chapter 20, verses 30 to 31, we read this. And I just want to read this with you. And then, tell you guys a bit of a story to, I think, just magnify the importance of encouragement. But this is what we read in John's gospel, chapter 20, verses 30 to 31. Now Jesus did many other signs in the presence of the disciples, which are not written in this book. But these are written so that you may believe that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of God, and that by believing you may have life in his name. And I love that verse. You might be sitting there, what does that got to do with encouragement? But I think it shows us the Gospels are written to encourage us. To encourage us about who Jesus was, who Christ was, so that we can believe in him, so we can have our lives impacted by him through the encouragement of his life, through the journey of his life. And I think it kind of points to how it needs to come from the heart. It's clear Jesus would have done stuff every moment the disciples were around him. But all the gospel writers, even John and the others, they all tend to focus on certain miracles, certain signs, as John calls it. Certain things that happen that they hone in and to make a real and authentic story, to really encourage us, to really inspire us, to really help us believe in who Jesus was and why he was sent here. And the Gospels scream encouragement to me. And I think encouragement has more power than we can ever imagine. I know, just to share a story, when I used to fight MMA, I had an amazing coach named Pete Hickmont, and he was great. He would always give me advice, and he would encourage me, but not in the way that you would think. He would give sound encouragement, but he would tell me what's actually happening. And I still remember one fight that I had, and it was when I was starting to, I guess, not be completely horrible at the fighting stuff. And I was meant to fight someone else on this promotion. Person I was meant to fight couldn't fight, so they lined up someone else. And I remember at weigh-ins, I didn't know this guy I was competing against. It was kind of, there's a little bit of notice that my opponent changed, and, I had time to prepare, but there wasn't a lot to find. He hadn't had many fights. He only had a couple. And I remember weighing in, and this guy looked like a tank compared to me, which kind of scared me a little bit, if I'm honest. And then I remember the fight started the next day. And the first round, I can be honest and say I got my butt kicked. He was beating me up and down the cage. I couldn't do anything. Nothing was working for some reason. And I was getting worried. And I remember the round ended, and I went and sat, down, and I had Pete come in. And this is why I'm saying encouragement sometimes sounds different than we can imagine. But he looked at me, and he goes, "Matt, what are you doing out there?" He's like, "You're not doing anything you know how to do in the gym. You're not shooting. You're not doing anything right." He's like, "You need to wake up out there. You're better than this." He's like, "I want you to go in there. I want you to take them down. Do what you can do." And he may have used some other words to fill in there that, I won't share. But he really inspired me with that, telling me to wake up. Saying, "What the hell are you doing out there, Matt? Come on." And I remember the second round starts, and I was thinking about what Pete encouraged me with, and I shot in pretty early in the round. Took this guy down, did some ground and pound, ended up getting a rear naked choke shortly after, and submitted him. And I'm looking back at that fight, I think it could have gone completely different. If Pete didn't encourage me the way that he did, if he didn't encourage me with something authentic and from the heart, acknowledging what was really happening and speaking into it, encouraging me with the fighter that I knew that I was, that fight could have kept going like in the first round where I just kept getting beaten. But it all changed because my coach in that moment chose to encourage me. He chose to be honest. He chose to tell me about what he's seen in me. He chose to lift me up. Because he could have chose to encourage me and lie to me and be like, oh, you're doing great, Matt. You're looking great out there. Or he could have just been super harsh and said, oh, what are you doing? You're awful. Come on, this is ridiculous. But he kind of found that medium where it was, Matt, you're better than this. He encouraged me, and it changed the outcome of that fight. And that's why I firmly believe encouragement can change the outcome of things we're going through in life. So I want you this week to ask how you can encourage others in a way that can have the capacity to change the outcome of maybe things that they're going through, because we all need encouragement. We all go through hard times. We all have a round like I did with fighting where things just aren't going right and you're getting beaten up and down the ring. And we all need encouragement in those moments. So I want to encourage you to be an encourager, to look at ways you can encourage others and lift them up this week. And I just want to close in prayer. God, I thank you for who you are. I pray that you help us be an encourager. You help us encourage others and change the outcome of things they are going through by lifting them up instead of bringing others down. I pray that you help us do this more and more to the people that we get the privilege to be a part of their lives, or the people that we interact with. And I lift all these things up to you in your amazing name. Amen. May God's grace and peace be with you.